Morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Michael. Thought I'd introduce a little back screen here. Remembering that learning is everything. How you think is always affected by the books you read and the people you have around you. So I just wanted to change it up a little bit for today. And let's get to the news here. Hope everybody's had a great week. In the meantime, and we'll get to the news. Here we go. The UK July consumer confidence, -30 versus -26. Reality has started to bite, and as people continue to struggle to make ends meet, consumers will pull back from spending, says the UK. Japan June CPI, 3.3 year over year versus 3.2 consensus. CPI 3.3 year over year, and June core CPI 4.2 versus 4.3 previous. On to our company breakdown. Autolive ALB Q2 adjusted EPS $1.93 versus estimate of $1.43. Scholastic SCHL ticker symbol Q4 adjusted EBITDA 115 million versus estimate of 98.1 million. Those are two strong earnings. Energy, Industrials, and Materials, CSX Corporation, CSX ticker symbol, Q2 EPS 49 cents versus 49 cents on revenues, which fell 3% year over year. Knight Swift Transportation, KNX, Q2 adjusted EPS 49 cents versus estimate of 57 cents. That's not too good. That's not going to help their stock price. PPG, which is moving strong. A lot of professional money managers look like their money is moving into their Q2 adjusted EPS $2.25 versus estimate of $2.14 on revenues of 4.872 billion versus estimate of 4.842 billion. Sees Q3 adjusted EPS $1.85 to $1.95 versus $1.87. On to financials. Associated Bank ASB Q2 EPS 56 cents versus 59 cents estimate. Bank of the Ozark OZK ticker symbol Q2 EPS $1.47 versus estimate of $1.42. Nice beat there. Capital One Financial COF ticker symbol Q2 EPS $3.52 versus $3.22. Nice beat there as well. Q2 revenues rose 9.5% year over year to 9 billion versus estimate of 9.12 billion. First Financial Bancorp FFBC ticker symbol Q2 adjusted EPS 72 cents versus estimate 69 cents. Metropolitan Bank MCB Q2 EPS $1.37 versus estimate of $1.75. Principal Financial Group PFG monthly AUM were 674.2 billion, of which 485.8 billion is managed by Principal Global Investors. AUM is assets under management. Service First Bank shares SFBS Q2 EPS 98 cents versus estimate 89 cents. Nice beat there. WR Berkeley, WRB, Q2 EPS $1.30 versus $1.10. On to healthcare, Bio-Rad Laboratories, BIO, to repurchase up to 500 million of outstanding shares of common stock. Codexis, CDXS, said it plans to lay off 25% of its workforce by September 30th, reiterates 2023 product revenue outlook between 30 and 35 million. Ouch. That's a lot of employees to lay off. Emergent Biosolutions, EBS, said it got FDA approval for anthrax vaccine. Cohen analyst notes that the approval is an incremental positive as it was largely expected. Intuitive Surgical, ISRG, second quarter EPS $1.42 versus estimate of $1.33 on revenues of $1.756 billion versus estimate of $1.739 billion. Worldwide Da Vinci procedures grew approximately 22% year over year, placed 331 Da Vinci surgical systems compared with 279 in the second quarter of 2022, grew its Da Vinci surgical installed base by 13% year over year to 8,042 systems, and raises full year 23 procedure growth view to 20 to 22% from 18 to 21%. And they see gross profit margins at 68 to 69%. Turnstone Biologics, TSBX, ticker symbol, 6.67 share IPO priced at $12. And finally, Technology, Media, and Telecom, Digital World Acquisition Corp, DWAC, DWAC, which plans to merge with the parent company of Donald Trump's Truth Social platform, settles charges of fraud with the U.S. SEC related to material misrepresentations made to investors to pay $18 million penalty. It closes a merger transaction. If it closes a merger transaction. And this is one of the highest volume stocks on the market today. There must be cheering that settlement. Equinix, EQIX, downgraded to equal weight from overweight at Wells Fargo. Sirius XM, SIRI, downgraded to sell at Pivotal, underperform at Evercore ISI, and sell rating at Deutsche Bank after the recent surge in share price. So that's our news for today. Let's get on to looking at our heat map in the S&P 500. Here's the S&P 500. As we can see, tech some parts of tech continue to pull back, whereas Oracle, Adobe, the software seem to be doing a little better than the big cap tech. NVIDIA is pulling back, although it is recovering. It was down further earlier. Broadcom is doing well. AMD. Looks like some of the chips are bouncing back. Google is trying to bounce back. Facebook Meta continues to pull back from it just had close to doubled in price. Discount stores, Walmart doing well, our industrials and health. So it seems like when tech pulls back, healthcare moves up. Some of our energy plays are doing well. Tesla and Amazon are bouncing back. Financial area, Visa, MasterCard are leading. Utilities continue to do well, and basic materials. And so that's our look at the S&P 500 heat map. As we do every day, we show that most people would do well to be in an annuity, can sleep better at night, steps up. Interest credits are linked in part of the performance of the external market index. Your annuity value may grow when markets rise. We guarantee you will not lose money. This is the most important part. Due to stock market downturns, interest credits will never be less than 0%. And this, along with the bonus that most annuities give you, shows why the annuity average annual growth beat indexes average annual growth by approximately 5%. So that is, as you can see, the jagged line. This is the indexes as they bounce around based on what the stock market is doing. Annuities do some hedging with bonds. They may use S&P options instead of stocks themselves. This is how they tend to beat the averages. So that's that. And now let's go to our screens. This is Avantor, up 7.22%. Professional money is definitely moving into this. Look at the volume. That's not your Aunt Sarah. investing in Avantur. And let's start off with our usual routine. Let's look what the dollar had bounced yesterday. Let's continue another gap up today. So this is going to continue to put pressure on gold. Gold is gapping down slightly. Looks like it's trying to bounce off of its 50-day moving average. Silver really moved down yesterday. It's continuing to move down. We'll see if it can fill this gap over here. 80% of stocks have filled their gap and then continue moving in that direction. Look at our favorite copper. It's pulling back a little bit. It's between its 10 and 20-day moving average. Still in a pretty tight range. Really like this, how this is acting. Volume is low on the selling. Let's see, X. It's pulling back. They gapped up yesterday and now they're filling that gap. Look at Southern Copper. Is actually up today. Wow. Divergence. We'll try to take a look at another technology that is good in the battery, produces lithium compounds application that's pulling back to its 50-day moving average. Looks like it's trying to bounce here. We had a big move in interest on bonds yesterday, and it's pulling back today. So the market should get some sort of breather. Had a huge move yesterday, gapped up at the open and continue moving higher. It's pulling back to its 20-day moving average. Let's look at the 20-year yield. It's pulling back as well. Take a look at the 1 to 3 year bond pricing. Looks like that's pulling back, so the yield is pretty flat. So the yield is probably pretty flat there as well. Take a look at the volatility index in the S&P 500. There's a big bounce yesterday, and now it's retreating from that declining 20-day moving average and show the relative strength is really dropping versus S&P 500. S&P 500 had a slight pullback yesterday, up 0.3% as the interest rates pulled back. Let's look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is trying to stay around that 10-day moving average. It wouldn't be out of the question to pull back to the 20-day. It's rather healthy as the moving averages try to catch up. Professional money managers don't like to see that big a volume. So when we had this big space above the moving averages, you tend to believe that a correction was coming, and I guess the interest rate increase is a good excuse for that. Here's the equal weight NASDAQ. They're going to have a rebalancing. It looks like the equal weight is performing better than where the top 7 biggest companies are in the QQQ. Take a look at the equal weight on the S&P 500. Once again, this looks healthier than the heavier weighted SPY index. Industrials are taking over the lead, it looks like, and they continue to shine today. You can see all of this volume where the professional money managers are moving their money into it. So we can take a look at this ETF. It seems to be performing, although it's pulling back a little bit today. it is performing at a better rate than the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And let's take a look at our small caps. Continue to pull back. Had big down volume yesterday, continues today. I believe small caps are more are hit stronger with higher interest rates moving up. So let's take a look at some of our leading issues. Commercial services, where Google, Facebook are in. So Facebook's downdraft really having a big effect here. And our financials are pretty flat, and they look actually pretty good for a change. We had this big sell-off over here, recovery, sold off again and again, and now got this leg up trying to recover. All of this selling over here is pretty low under the average daily volume. More blue bars are above the average volume, so professional money managers are moving back into this area, it appears. XBI, our biotech index, looks like it's bouncing off of the 10-day moving, 20-day moving average, just about to the 50-day moving average. Our other index, for a long time, it was underperforming the XBI, and now it looks like it's outperforming. Had some good volume numbers here. Take a look at our semiconductor index, bouncing off of the 20-day moving average here. We'll take a look at some stocks there. I neglected to do that yesterday. Infrastructure spending remains pretty strong. Pulled back to its 10-day moving average. Jets had a slight pullback yesterday. It looks like they're riding their 10-day moving average. United Airlines. Look at all this professional money moving into them. They had a slight sell-off, and then their earnings. Look at their earnings, 24.92%. Earnings surprise wasn't as good as earnings surprise as American Airlines, but price and volume will tell you something else, because American Airlines sold off pretty strong yesterday and still pretty weak. I'd continue to watch this. Delta looks like they remain pretty strong. They had earnings increase of 86%, 11% earnings surprise. And Copa Panamanian is leading the charge. 95% relative strength, gapped out of this consolidation, and has just continued to rise. Got some sloppy volume here. Seems to be a lot of selling volume, so it has reached a 25% profit area, so herein lies where we may see more selling going forward. Look at our building materials. Pretty tight range. Looks like when it pulls back, we got buyers here. Anytime you see a tight range in a stock or an index, it's really positive. Metals and materials. Looks like our working on a cup with a handle consolidation. Still, as it pulls back, it's pretty tight range. And this is what you want to see down here. Low volume on the selling, high volume on the buying. So we just have to wait and see if we get a big blue bar over here. And finally, our home builders, where the bond yields rising, pulling back. This is a pretty big bar on selling yesterday. We'll just have to see what today brings. We'll check back on Monday on this. And let's take a look at Digital World, which was in the news on that lawsuit settlement. Look at this number, 48%, 47% jump in price. And look at this volume, just amazing. I'm going to bring up my other screen so I can see our true or professional money managers are putting their money into. Autolive develops, manufactures, and supplies a wide range of safety systems to the automotive industries, up 11%. Look at this volume, 114% earnings increase and almost 114% earnings surprise. Proficient up about 4%. Huge volume, 1, 2, 3, 4, massive volume. Earnings are in 6 days. You always want something that moves up on big volume before its earnings could really sell off when the earnings come, where they sell on the news, buy in rumors, sell on the news. Marriott moving up out of this little tight area. Once again, tight consolidation area. Take a look at this on a weekly basis. 1, 2, 3 weeks tight. Shows that professional money managers are buying in this area to support the stock. It's always a strong positive. Weatherford International checked on Yahoo Finance yesterday. I believe it has a $91 price target by average analysts. Once again, really tight trading range. Moves up 1.42% today. Look at the blue bars above the average line, red bars below it. This is a positive, only 1 day selling. So that's awesome. See what other area. Take a look at Tidewater, which has been a strong. Yeah, they're pretty tight range as well. Noble Energy, oil and gas drilling, really popped over here. Look at all these bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 days in a row up. 8 out of 9. 9 out of 10. 10 out of 11. 12, 13. 11 out of 15 days up in a row. This is telling you something's going on here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 out of 11, 12 out of 11 out of 12, 12 out of 13. And now we have a couple of days off, but it's still in a tight consolidation range. So will it trail off, come back to its 10-day moving average or 20, and then shoot up? Take a look at it on the weekly basis. You can see this cup consolidation didn't have a handle, just stormed out of the gate. And finally, on the positive, this is going to be our learning tool for today. This is most powerful stock for the longest time. Broke out over here the first time. It looks like the low is 74.15. Traded in a range around 92, bouncing back and forth. Then broke out again. This is one of the rarest of all formation. This is what you call the flagpole. And then this is the flag. Look at this tight trading range. After it popped up, here's a flagpole. It's when high tight flag is when a stock doubles in price and will not go down below, and it just keeps churning upwards. We look back in time. I'll come back to that part of the lesson here in a second. Let's look what our professional money managers are moving out of. Alta Equipment down 7.3% today. Earnings are due in 19 days. Industrial and construction equipment, which is the strongest area, and this is falling. Chase Corporation, another industrial manufacturer, pulling back, but it's made a strong move, so not too bad there. PSQ Holdings down 28% today. Blank Check Corporation AutoNation. Look at this plunge, down 12.33%. Looks like it's going to head towards this 50-day moving average. Its earnings came in at negative 3%. Had an earnings surprise of 9.6%, but this isn't what professional money managers were looking for. Look at this huge volume. Had a warning sign yesterday, pretty huge volume. Pulled back to its 10-day. And now look at that move. Gap down and has just continued down for the day. Interpublic Group, gap down on the open and is now on its low of the day, very negative, down nearly 13% on massive volume. They were looking for a lot more than 17% earnings increase, even though this was an earnings surprise of 117%, similar to what we saw in American Airlines yesterday. American Express is trying to recover. They're in the top 75% of his move today, which is positive, but they still gap down 3.4%. Intuitive Surgical, which was in the news today, down 3% between its 20 and 50-day moving average. Earnings came in at 25%, almost a 25% earnings surprise, and still we got everybody's moving out today. We got 1, 2, 3 days in a row of volume above average. Mirati Therapeutics is down big time. Fun is not having fun today. Fun hasn't had fun in a long time, it looks like. Cedar Fair, not much good happens under the 200-day moving average, which it crossed right over here. EPS is due in 13 days. And Hilltop Holdings, Plains Capital Bank, earnings came in a negative 38%, negative 30% earnings surprise. And there we have it. So we're going to go back to, we're going to look at Qualcomm. Just want to go back in history. Let's see. We want to go back to 2000. Go in the Wayback Machine here. So this is a look at a high tide flag in history. So as we can see, $10. Here's a high tide flagpole. This is one of the rarest stock formations. Price doubled, went up 100%. And over total time, this went up from over here, 2,500% in 2020 before it started selling off. We do have a little comparison. See if we can get the comparison tool. Maybe I didn't pull up the right one. just take this to Qualcomm. Let's see if we can, I guess it might not work because we're trying to compare two different time periods. It does show Super Micro in comparison to the current Qualcomm. And NVIDIA currently, we want to change this to 2023. NVIDIA's gone up quite a bit this year, but as you can see, just look at Super Micro. With all these chips, somebody has to put these chips together, and this is what Super Micro computer does. Will it continue? It's hard to say. Future results are not guaranteed, but it has all the great qualities that meet the past performance metrics. Gapped up over here. So we had a gap up over here, consolidated, continued its run, gapped up over here. So it's gone from 100 to over 200. That's our first double. And it just continues. It did sell off a little bit. It bounced off of its 10-day moving average yesterday, came back up above 300, sold off a little bit under 300 today, and it really likes this line here in the sand. Jesse Livermore, one of the greatest investors of all time, said the magical number of 100, 200, and 300 will draw a stock and tends to stay above it. We'll just see if it can continue. Just want to profile that in our educational session. Look at all these blue bars. There's a lot of professional money managers moving into the stock. 2023, 91% earnings increase. Another 10% in 2024. Look at where this has come from. 89 cents, 251, 277, 248, 565, and then it just doubles. That's why the stock doubles. So that's our learning segment for today. You want to find companies that are growing magnanimously like this. I promise I'd look at some of our semiconductors. ALGM had a big sell-off yesterday. Seems like it's trying to hold at its 10-day moving average. Let's see if it can maintain there while the 20-day and 50-day try to catch up. Seems like ACLS has been the leader. We have a big sell-off pulling past its 20-day, well, the 50-day catch up. We'll just have to wait and see. Earnings are due in 12 days, estimated $1.50. And take a look at ON Semiconductor is bouncing today, bouncing off of that 20-day, gapping up quite a little bit. Lattice Semiconductor hasn't been doing as well as the others. Had a huge gap down yesterday and is below its 50-day, trying to maintain. AMD hasn't been able to perform as well as either. And Broadcom looks to be one of the strongest. Really got some tight price action here. Can it break out is a question. Some pretty anemic volume. Just had their earnings up 14%. Doesn't look like we got much earnings movement here. And finally, we'll look at NVIDIA. Looks like it's pulling back to its 20-day moving average. Earnings in 33 days. Look at this massive earnings increase for 2024 and another huge number in 2025. And finally, we'll take a look at TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors. They delayed their Arizona plant opening. Cathie Wood has jumped in and bought a number of shares, was reported today. Earnings are down 24% in 2023, and they increased 24% in 2024. So that's our look at the semiconductors, our learning lesson on the high tide flag. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. We have a great show coming up tomorrow. We have the Witty Chiro mobile chiropractic practice, how he started his business on Saturday, small business leaders. Hope you tune in. In the meantime, have a great weekend.